Hi, this is Julie from Soulbridge Holistics, and I'm here to bring you a three-part series. It's going to be about honoring yourself, and I have tons of notes because I've been thinking about this a lot. I keep hearing about people who are going through relationship difficulties, and learning to negotiate communication with another human being is going to be always a little bit edgy, and there's some give and take there. It's negotiation. And let me tell you a bit about myself. I have a doctorate in educational leadership and over 10 years experience with social work. I am twice the age of your normal counselor, and I have a lot of lived experience, not just documentation or degrees or paperwork. So you can pay a degreed social worker, counselor, $75 an hour and get their experience and their opinion. Usually they just say, how does it make you feel? And they want you to keep coming back because it's $75 an hour. Or you can listen to my short videos. I can't record long videos because my computer doesn't allow me to, where I will encapsulate and summarize what I think you need to know for your own best survival and to make yourself happy. So the idea of honoring yourself is this three-part series, and I'm going to start with some key points. Honoring yourself means listening to the quiet voice inside that says this doesn't feel right, even when you can't yet explain why. I keep getting calls. This doesn't feel right. I don't feel comfortable. I'm not doing it right. I don't know what it is. This is what my friends say, and family members also. And I tell them, I will continue to always quote people who have died and come back when they were told on the other side, you did nothing wrong. You can never do anything wrong. You're doing a perfect job. You're following your life path. Everything is unraveling the way it's supposed to. So when the person comes back, they're a bit confused. Well, if I'm doing such a perfect job, why do I feel so bad? And the reason is because you're learning. Nobody said this was going to be easy. Remember that you put those obstacles in your life path for a reason. If you're an intuitive or a sensitive, or somebody who really reacts to anything that upsets yourself, then that quiet voice inside that says this doesn't feel right, that is your little dipstick for adjusting the circumstances around you to meet your needs better. Now, understand that if you're in a relationship is going to be a give and take, and it definitely has unwritten rules. And you'll find when you look at dating sites that most of the women want to be cared for and they want to be happy, and all the men will post pictures of their muscles, pictures of their groins, pictures of their endowment, tell everybody about their endowment, how much they want to do it. And they're really upfront about doing it. They really want to do it. So we get where men are coming from. They want to negotiate a social contract that'll allow them to lay down with somebody. And women want to trade off with that. They're like, well, I want the boat trip. I want someone to take me to the mall. I want someone to go to parties with me. We want to do this squishy, lovey-dovey stuff. Well, they'll do that, but only if they trade off for the thing that they want. And so if you're not ready to give that, if you're not in a space of negotiating that, if you're not sure how to figure out when do I say yes and when do I say no, or do I just let them have what they want and feel nothing? There's an old joke about what does the married woman say when she's doing it? She stares at the ceiling and says, beige. I think the ceiling should be beige. So if you find that your relationship is becoming like that, where you don't care and you don't feel anything, you don't need to be in that relationship because someone should not be making you feel that way. So it means not abandoning yourself to keep the peace. A place where I feel numb or void, or feel like I'm trying to avoid interaction or avoid giving my opinion, or I'm starting to feel like I'm walking on glass, that's not a safe space for a woman to be coming from. If you find that you're communicating with this person and he's not listening and he's not negotiating because his hard line is, I don't want you talking to the men, I don't want you talking to the women, I don't want you talking to anybody. It is true that in a new relationship, a person needs to build trust with a strange person that you have married and now you're getting to know each other for real. And if you keep telling all your personal business to your friends, and women like to gossip a lot, they're sharing all their pictures on Facebook, they're sharing all their trips, they're sharing everything they do, the man can feel like he's being used, and it's very superficial, and it's all about what she can gossip to her friends about. So he feels like he's in the middle of gossip and people talking about him. He feels outnumbered, literally. So, men aren't as verbal. They don't run to their male friends and go, this is what we did last night, and this is how it felt, and this is what we did. They tend to keep it to themselves more. And so there will always be this men are from Mars, women are from Venus moments where you wish he could feel more. And if he's a straight man, chances are he's not conditioned to be putting his emotions out there like that. But there's a point where he'll learn to open up when he trusts you, but not if you keep blabbing to all your friends and making him part of a social gossip circle, especially if it's female friends or female family members. So he'll feel like his boundaries are being invaded. So honoring yourself means choosing a connection that expands you, not a connection that shrinks you. Two people who are married for the right reason or in a relationship should be working to expand each other. And that means after you've set a solid foundation for your communication, and you say, I wanted to go back to school and be a nurse, and he'll go, well, I'll watch the kids while you study. That kind of thing is a nice give and take. But you have to make sure it's not all the burden on one person, that you're always cognizant that you're splitting the burden. Because if he's doing something for you, you're doing something for him. And this is not a stereotype. He drives the bus while you cook the dinner. That's not it. But if you're both working, then you both need to be trading off doing chores too. So it's not okay for him to say, in my country or in my family, women do all that work and men don't. Those stereotypes are repressive, and they will create communication issues. So, honoring yourself means respecting your boundaries. I do not want to touch you tonight. I don't feel right. Respecting your intuition. I have a gut feeling about this, and the person says, tell me about that. Not, oh, that's your imagination. I don't need to listen to this. It means respecting your emotional safety. It means respecting your self-worth. And it means respecting your freedom. So if a person tries to shut you down, then you have to ask why. And it doesn't mean it's the end of your relationship. It doesn't mean it's immediately terminal. What it does mean is that the person has to understand where your boundaries are and how you're intending to expand. And these kind of communications are always going to be changing. And then sometimes you're expanding to a point where they can't keep up. And that is a termination of a relationship. If the person wants to move away and you don't, or they want to change jobs to something that is going to, like working in a tattoo parlor, put you around people that you're uncomfortable with, that you don't want to communicate with. Or let's say the person wants to work in a bar and you're not comfortable around bars. I do have to advise people that if you meet someone in a bar or you meet somebody in a club, don't expect them to not go later on. If you met them while they were drinking, they're going to keep drinking. If you met them while they were partying, they're going to keep partying. Okay, so you made a social contract and then you're changing the rules on them. That kind of thing can make a person feel really uncomfortable. So, in wrapping this video up, I just want to say, you deserve love that feels warm and steady, not love that confuses you or makes you shrink. Internalize that. Rewind this video and watch it again. Honoring yourself begins when you stop explaining someone's bad behavior and start noticing how your body feels around them. And I'm going to keep emphasizing, your intuition is not wrong. Your emotions are not wrong. That gut level, third chakra feeling that you get, you need to sit with that and think it out. But I want you to also ask yourself, are you taking more than you're giving? Did you create an obstacle? Did you change the rules somehow? So one person I just spoke to says, when we moved in together, because he asked me to move in with them, he told me I could sell my house and keep the money and that he wouldn't charge me rent. Okay, But look what you're doing. You're in his space now. He's used to being alone, and he has to learn to share a space. That would make anybody uncomfortable. If my sister, if my friend down the road, if the guy that I really think a lot of decides to move in with me and he brings all his stuff in, that's in my space. So now I had to accommodate moving all my stuff around to bring somebody else's stuff in. And they're changing things on my walls, maybe changing my furniture, maybe using my cupboard space, just moving my environment around. That's going to make me feel really uncomfortable. And I have to absorb that. And how long does it take to live with a person before you actually get a pattern down where you're comfortable with just that person? And then the person I spoke to said, and my daughter wanted to move in with us. Well, I would have immediately said no to having other people move in, because first of all, it's not your space. It was his space, and he's getting used to you. You're in a marriage. That's a sacred communication between two people, not 3 people or 5 people or whatever. Well, as soon as you bring in those extra people, you have again changed the synergy. Now you're outnumbered. It's him against a group of people that are in his space, that are changing the energy in his space. If I were that person, I would be defensive. I would wonder why I invited them in. So also for that male who did that, maybe he's just feeling like he wanted to try communication, marriage, partnership. He wanted to try that out to see what it looks like. And now it's feeling overwhelming for him because he's got all these people in his space. And what's worse yet, if it's a mother and a daughter, they're talking about him behind his back because the women will be communicating. And then they're going to say, well, we think that you, and now it's a ganging up type thing. And that would make the man defensive too. Likewise, if you're a female who moves in with a guy and then his son moves in, then the 2 guys are giving opinions about you. It makes you feel cornered. It would make you feel like you're not invited into the space. It's not, I can see you having the communication with the man saying, I married you, not your son. And I feel overwhelmed by the extra people in the house. So however that goes, the sacred space that you're creating between you and that other person means negotiating step by step. How does this feel? Do I have permission? Are you comfortable with this? And then being willing to back up when the comfort level has been exceeded. Because if you don't, if you hold your space or say, what's it to you, or this isn't important, or why do you care? If you put that person on the defensive, then you're going to have issues with that person's boundaries and their emotional safety and their self-worth and their sense of freedom. It needs to be equal on both sides, and it's worth sitting and talking about. All right, so this is part 1 of 3 in our series about honoring yourself. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll give you another dose of my opinion. Everything I say is always my opinion, and it's for educational and entertainment purposes only. Although, as I've told you, I'm probably twice the age of the average counselor and exceed their education level, so my bona fide opinion is worthy of some attention, and I hope that you think so. I'm always going to be grounded and stay as practical as I can be and tell it like it is and give you the truth. So I won't sugarcoat it. I'm not getting paid $75 an hour to give you my opinion. However, if you did enjoy this video, please click the link for Buy Me a Coffee at the bottom, and you all stay luminous. Have a great day.